Inflation is still really high, so should you be worried about inflation in retirement? Today we're going to discuss 3 things that you can do so you don't have to worry. Hey there, it's Alex and Anthony from 1 Degree Advisors. If you're new here, we are certified financial planners that help folks with all things tax, retirement, and investment related. Anthony, so inflation is up 8.5% for July, which is kind of a good sign, right? We saw 9.1% inflation in the month of June, and that's a good thing. We see inflation come down just a little bit.
Right. So inflation 8.5% over the last year. The good news is that it didn't increase from the previous month, which was the point that President Biden was trying to get across there. But the thing is, it's still high. And it affects retirees adversely because retirees tend to live on a fixed income, so it can be worrying.
Yeah, so what we want to do today is talk about the 3 things a current retiree can do so they don't have to worry about inflation. For the folks that are not yet retired or thinking about retirement, we did post a video just talking about how to prepare for that retirement, especially when inflation is high. But let's keep this really simple. Everyone's situation is unique, but today we're going to provide 3 solutions, or at least 3 ideas that people need to focus on so they don't have to worry. The first thing is refocus your big picture.
Yeah, and this is where you do want to start. What we're trying to say here is really widen the lens. Go back to your overall plan. What convinced you in the first place that you could retire successfully? When you look at your plan, did you have a cushion built in? Did you assume that there was an inflation rate? Did you factor that in basically? Did you look at your expenses and say, yeah, I can manage this going forward? And if you can answer yes to those things, then having that comfort of, okay, I've already planned for this. I don't need to worry just because we're actually there at this point.
Yeah. Especially for clients of 1 Degree. I know that's one of the things where when we were running retirement projections for folks, let's say 5 years ago, and we were using an inflation rate in their plan that was maybe a little bit higher than the current rate, we did that because there's uncertainty, right? Inflation could be higher in the future, which, it turns out it was. Right. But that's the point, is you want to be maybe a little bit conservative in your projections. And that's where, especially projecting out over longer periods of time, that's the kind of thing that a financial advisor can help you with. It's certainly something that we've been helping folks with, so that it gives them the confidence to say, yes, we were planning on higher inflation. We have a cushion. Things are going to be okay. There's still a lot of unknowns out there, but we were kind of planning for some of these unknowns.
Right.
The second thing here is to note your income we'll put this chart up here, is where you want to look at each source of income that you have coming in, write it out, and then write down the amount that you're earning from that. And then the third thing is write out, are you receiving a cost of living adjustment? So an example of like rental income, it may not be something where you're just, it's automatically increasing, but it's where it can adjust for inflation periodically. Social Security, for instance, last year I think it rose by 5.9%. People are expecting that it's going to be much higher in terms of a cost of living adjustment, and that'll help retirees out. There may be other things, investment withdrawals, where you have a little bit more flexibility. You can increase it with cost of living. Of course, you want to be able to look at that with a keen eye so that it is sustainable. You may have something like a pension where it's just flat, and it's good to know that. Yeah. Listing out those income sources, what will go up over time or what is automatically built in to go up versus the things that aren't, can help you dissect, okay, what income sources may I have to cut back depending on the level of inflation, how those investments are doing, so that, again, we don't run into, in many cases, a retiree's biggest fear, which is, am I going to run out of money, and do I have to go back to work, right? Those are the things that we want to avoid, and that's where, again, having a good plan, listing those things out is incredibly helpful. Right. All right, the last thing here, which is kind of similar to the income source, but it's the exact opposite, which is list your expenses.
Yeah, and when we list out our expenses, the point here, if we don't feel entirely comfortable with points 1 and 2, is that we may be able to cut back a little bit. And that may sound like a bad thing to a retiree, but think of it as more empowering. When you do list it out, you can say, okay, what's not quite as important, where I can pull back on that. So the things that are needs, and then the things that are really high priorities,
maybe I don't need to cut back on, and I can choose where I want to reduce.
And now let us know what you think. How are you handling inflation in retirement? Are you cutting back on some things? Have you not changed your lifestyle at all? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.